including LNG.
صباح الخير. Your Excellency, Engineer Tariq, Your Excellency, the Governor of Alexandria, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, colleagues, and many friends that I see in the room. It is really, I can't tell you how much it is an honor and really a privilege to be asked to come to MOC to give one of the keynote speakers together with distinguished colleagues from other companies, whether it's Karim, Nicolas, or Fabio from E&I. Really, Your Excellency, MOC has developed into a leading offshore conference, one that brings companies like ours, brings governments, regulators, service companies, technology companies together to discuss some of the challenges that we have as an industry. This is a forum for us to talk to each other, share information, and more importantly, learn. And I sincerely hope when we leave here today, we've had big discussions, good sharing, so we can build a stronger and more sustainable business in the world, but particularly here in Egypt. We're also here in Alexandria. This is a remarkable city, a city I've known since my childhood. It's a city with remarkable people. And I really would like to say that, and remind everybody that Alexandria was probably the beacon of civilization in the Mediterranean, whether we're talking about the north, the east, the west, everywhere. This is where we are. We're also in a remarkable country. Egypt is forging its future. Egypt, and I will steal some of your words, Your Excellency, is a country in motion. Egypt is a country that I'm personally very proud to call home. Today in MOC, we will discuss challenges. I will talk about two. We'll discuss the challenge of uncertainty in price and what we can do together. We'll also discuss around the energy transition and the role we have as partners, as companies and governments to address that. But I think with the challenges, we need to remember one thing. Whenever you're facing challenges, you want friends. And in this conference, you will hear from a lot of companies like myself, others are going to speak about successes that we've had in Egypt. I want to take a very few brief moments to say that the success of Egypt is thanks to the Egyptian government. We are very thankful, Your Excellency. I think I'll give a personal reflection. A few years ago, not with Your Excellency, but before, I was invited to speak in MOC. And I came here and I complained. I complained about arrears. I complained about subsidies. I complained most of all that I felt that Egypt was losing out to the world in terms of investment. People, companies like mine were investing in the Gulf of Mexico, Brazil, elsewhere in the world, and I complained. Today, I have to come and say, humbly, thank you. Thank you very much. Egypt has addressed subsidies. Egypt has addressed the exchange rate. Egypt, probably as a country in the world, has undertaken economic reform that very few, I don't know any to be honest, but very few have done. This has really put our country, my country, on the path of economic reform. And it is, I have to say, Your Excellency as well, and the arrears are going down. A few years ago, I remember being, not necessarily here, but in Egypt, and we were all worried about domestic energy supply, whether it was gas or oil. The government is supplying gas and energy domestically everywhere. And what really impresses me is that, Your Excellency, we're building a very robust energy sector. It's very important. And we're building it, you are building it, Egypt is building it on 3 pillars. Many of you will know about the modernization program that is under your auspices. This modernization program is here to tackle the inefficiencies we all talk about. It's here to develop the youth. It's here to develop capability. And I really strongly encourage every one of you up there, here, if you haven't heard about it, find out how you can personally contribute. This is one of the challenges we have as a country, is how do we pull together and contribute. This is a fantastic program. This is the first. The second is the new gas law with liberalization, something we all spoke about, at least all Egyptians spoke about. Never thought it would happen, actually, but it did. This attracts investment, and we can see it today by companies like mine, other companies in the room. And last but not least, Egypt as an energy hub. I spoke about it 4 years ago. This is going to become a reality. And it makes me really proud. Well done. If I talk about Shell in Egypt, it's a history of 107 years. This year we're 107 years old. We're quite young, of course. And I think we can date the history of our company and the history of oil and gas in Egypt, really, they come together. Yesterday I was driving from Burj Al Arab airport into the city, and I passed a few Masr al-Petrol stations. And I was very touched that Masr al-Petrol still has the yellow and red colors of, well, of Masr al-Petrol, what was Shell. But it was very, very nice, very nice to see. It's a long history. In 2016, Shell and BG merged, and today we're one of the, amongst many, but we're one of the big investors, big producers of oil and gas in Egypt. And a few weeks ago, I'm really happy to say that we've taken final investment decision on our offshore, our next phase, what we call phase 9B. So you can imagine how many phases there were of West Delta Deep Marine. This project is, and many of us in the room know how long it has taken, but it's a measure of our commitment to the country. And I have maybe I'll take a pause here, and I have a message that I would like to give. This message is primarily, firstly, to our employees, to our stakeholders, maybe to our suppliers, and maybe as well to our competitors. Shell is back exploring offshore. As a major, or as the major shareholder in Egyptian LNG, Your Excellency, your vision of a gas hub, we are right behind it and we will deliver it. It will happen. I want to say a few words around onshore as well. We are partners with Badreddin in a fantastic venture that we have in the Western Desert. This is a venture that is producing over 120,000 barrels of oil equivalent a day. And it's a venture where I'm always impressed with the quality of men and women who deliver every day, under difficult conditions, deliver hydrocarbons safely, on time, and with high efficiency. It makes me very, very, very proud to be associated with these people. I also would like to say a few words around what we do as a company in Egypt, more than oil and gas. 13 years ago, we launched Intilaqa. Intilaqa is a program that is destined to work not with the oil sector necessarily, but work with small and medium enterprises. How can we work with young Egyptians, bringing together expertise that we may have as a company, bringing financial expertise, and bring those small and medium enterprises, SMEs, and make them flourish. Today, we've worked with over 8,000 Egyptians, and we've developed some 750 small and medium enterprises that are flourishing around the country. Again, it's an area that we can do a lot more, but it's an area as well I invite us, all of us, everybody in the room as an industry, is something we should embrace and contribute to our country. I'd like now to speak of challenges, which I guess is why we're all here, and I'll speak really of two. First challenge that I want to share with you, and this is not in a way to give answers, but really to share reflections and opinions and hopefully have the debate together, is the uncertainty of price. 2018 will see a very large amount of new hydrocarbons that will come on stream from around the world. And we're all comforted today that we look at our oil price and it's a lot better than it was before, and people feel rather good. But I need to remind us that demand is still fragile. I am personally concerned when people look at the oil price of today and we say the crisis is behind us. I'm also concerned about the level of exploration that we are doing as an industry. Not particularly in Egypt. Egypt has been a success, but probably one of the very few successes around the world. To give you a few numbers, the world has added, through exploration, through the bit, 9 billion barrels of hydrocarbons. If we go back 2 years, we've added 16, and if we go out further 2 years, the number was 3 times that. This is really a warning signal for us as a community. It's not just for Shell or BP or Total or others, it's for us together, governments and companies. The oil and gas business needs to continue to invest. We need to manage our cycles. When we talk about oil price, I want us, whether it's Egypt or Shell, we need to be robust and we need to be resilient. One of our core values in Shell is we want to be a world-class, the best investment case. We're a good investment case because we look at our returns. We understand where we're spending our money. And like the Minister of Petroleum and the Modernization Program, we have a program we call Fit for the Future. Here we look at how we remove waste between companies and contractors. How can we run our business seamlessly between us? How can we, from exploration, we can bring on stream production in a fast and quick way. And I salute what ENI has done with Zohr. It's a fantastic achievement. Well done. Something for all of us to learn from. I think through this program it is important that countries, Egypt in this case, companies, Shell in this case, we always keep our focus on what is our capital efficiency and what is the returns. When we keep this focus together, we will unlock more resources, more competitive resources, and really provide a means of economic growth to the population. So please, if you remember one thing, at least of everything I said today, we need to remain true to what we have been through in the last 3 years. We can't let 2014, 15, and 16 go to waste. We have learned how to become more efficient. We are seeing some of the fruits of it now. We cannot waste it. We need to be vigilant. We need to know where we're spending our money, and most of all, we cannot allow waste to come back. Of course, in all this, technology has a fantastic role to play. Technology unlocks resources. It allows us to produce hydrocarbons more cheaply, and therefore grow the size of our business and the size of our economy. And with that, I'd like to move to the second challenge, which is really all about energy transition. And people talk about energy transition and how do oil and gas companies, how do governments thrive, and I use the word deliberately. We're not here to survive in an energy transition, we are here to thrive in an energy transition. And I will share with you a piece of information I'm sure many in the audience know. Egypt was the first country in the world to experiment with renewable energy. I don't know how many know this, but in 1912, Egypt built the first world thermal solar plant ever. We used troughs to heat water, generate steam, drive an engine, and in that time it was really to pump, I think it was 6,000 gallons of Nile water for cotton plantations. So we have a fantastic history. In the last few years, Egypt is a signatory of COP21 or the Paris Accord. Egypt will produce 20% of its energy through renewables by 2022. Shell as well, my company, we've made significant commitments to meeting a lower CO2, meeting a 2-degree scenario world. We've taken a commitment to cut our emissions. And here I'm going to define it. It's not emissions of what we produce, it's the emissions of the entire chain, end to end. What we produce and how our products are used, whether it's in vehicles, industry or otherwise, by 50%. It's a very bold ambition, but this keeps us in line with society. This is how oil and gas companies are going to thrive. We're going to grow in the energy transition. We are not, I don't want us to be part of the problem. I sincerely believe we, everyone in this room, we are part of the solution of climate change. And I would like you all to believe that. Of course, gas is part of that solution. We are a big gas company. Egypt is a big gas country, and you heard the minister and previous speakers talk about the gas potential of Egypt. It's not just about the gas finds. Egypt has extended its gas networks in all homes, in many homes, and is still being extended. This extension will count towards our commitment in COP21. Technology is another one. We believe in Shell that carbon capture and storage is a significant part of the solution. We have developed a project in Canada. It's Quest, we call it Quest CCS, Quest Carbon Capture and Storage. And in this project, we capture 1 million tons of CO2 per annum. We have proven that this can be done on an industrial scale. But this is another area, and again, this is my second message to all of you. This is an area where we need more collaboration, cooperation between technology companies and governments in order to make this part of the mainstream. So ladies and gentlemen, I'll come to my conclusion. I think the world needs more energy. I think the world needs more clean energy. And I believe we as an industry, we as a country, we are part of the solution. People in other parts of the world talk about our oil and gas industry with words like it's the sunset, it's behind us, words to that effect. I don't have a good analogy, but I would say that it is for the oil and gas industry, it's about midday. The sun is shining. It's great to be part of this industry. It's great to be part of this group. It's great to be part of the people that work here. We have challenges. Shell has challenges. We have very common challenges with Egypt, but we have many, many opportunities. And I really look forward to working with all of you, working with the government of Egypt in unlocking these challenges. Thank you very much.
ENI currently operates in Egypt in the exploration and production and gas and power sectors. There is a long-term business relation between ENI and the Egyptian petroleum sector that goes back to 1954 when concession was reopened to foreign companies. ENI's major production activities are in the Gulf of Suez with the production of oil and condensate, and in the Nile Delta concession, which mainly produces gas. Our keynote speaker is Engineer Fabio Cavanna, General Manager, IOC Egypt.
Sabahir, good morning everyone. His Excellency, the Minister of Petroleum and Mineral Resources, Excellency, heads the Governor of Alexandria, the heads of the Navy and the Northern Region, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, let me say that I'm very happy to be here in Alexandria, and I would like to thank in particular our Minister, Engineer Tarek Molla, and the structure for the efforts made to ensure the success of this event. In the last year, the hydrocarbon sector in Egypt has registered unique and important achievement. Thanks also to industry's continued efforts, applying the best available technologies and paying almost attention and to highest HSE standards. However, new technologies alone would not have been sufficient without the support of the authorities and the government for achieving these results. The MOC 2018 edition, with its focus on technologies in gas, represents an excellent opportunity to exchange views and experiences in order to further enhance oil and gas performances in Egypt and support the role of regional hub. In this frame, I wish to recall some recent experiences that have been achieved in Egypt by our operating companies, Agiba and Petrobel, which marked the momentum with the following achievements. Petrobel ensuring the Nouruz startup in record time and the great production ramp up. The next slide, please. Petrobel also ensuring the startup of Zohr in a record time. Agiba with an historical milestone, producing a cumulative of 500 million barrels, and with the best-in-class drilling performances with an NPT of 2.9% and 0 LTI in 2017. Now I'm going to some of these points to show which are the challenges and how the problems have been solved. For Nouruz project, just to recap the main challenges and the innovation applied. So the discovery was made in July 2015, and the production started in August with 71 million standard cubic feet per day. In September 16, we reached 700 million. 883, then 1 BCF in 2017 June, and then almost 1.2 BCF in September 2017, and we are proceeding. How we got there? For sure, improving and applying the best technologies in exploration, integrating seismic and sedimentological data, but also enhancing all the best technologies in drilling. We modified the drilling design and the drilling application of the best technologies for directional drilling and to optimize the well bore stability. And this allowed to substantially reduce the months necessary for having a well on stream. Now we have just completed the 14th and consider that the average is 2 months instead of 3 as before. Next one. And then Zohr, which has been already mentioned several times. As you see on the left, on the top, that was the picture of Zohr in April 2016. Consider that we got the new license and the POD approval in February 2016. The site preparation started in April 2016. The second picture shows how it was in August 17, and at the bottom on the right, the pictures taken today. So this is really a remarkable achievement. We got the first gas in 22 months since the POD approval, and the time to market since discovery is 2.3 years, which is a world record. The next slide, please. No, sorry, use one. Yeah. Yeah, on the top you see the summary of the achievement. The average production up to date is 350, and we are targeting, this is a really stretch target, to get 2 BCF per day within 2018, at 2.7, which is the plateau as per POD next year. How huge challenge may become a success? We were facing big challenges which have been afforded. We have 1.5 kilometers of water depth. We were able to manage 230 tie-in kilometers to shore. The question is yellow. The answers are the below ones. So the first one is fundamental to have, and we did it, a strong commitment of foreign partners and the authorities. And we achieved that. The second point is an innovative development strategy and strong local content. And I would recall that we approached the project in a completely different way, because we started engineering when the appraisal phase was still on. And this allowed to reduce strongly the time to market. The second point is a strong and highly qualified local content. And I had to thank Petrojet, MP, and PMS for their very strong support for achieving these results. Then, innovation regarding technology. We apply for the environmental study at the beginning, the best technologies, PNC, and also for all the best for mapping properly the water before starting the activity and the seabed. We apply the best technology, which is also proprietary of ENI, continuous circulation device, and NPD. We use chrome tubulars for avoiding any damage in the wells because the H2S. And then we apply Q&A non-destructive techniques, avoiding any radiation as normal and standards. Finally, innovative strategy for recruitment and training. We tailor training program for H2S. I recall that this field contains H2S, so it needed dedicated program. And we trained 21,000 people, including contractors. We built also dedicated recruitment plan for young graduates, and we tailored training programs for skilled and young graduates. Because one of the problems is we needed to allow people to grow up very quickly and be able to work on site in a few months. Together with the project, we also developed, with the support of the Ministry of Petroleum and the Governor of Port Said, a sustainable program. We revamped a clinic in El Garaba, and also we have planning to build in 4 years several projects in the field of aquaculture, health, and youth centers. This will be done together with our partners of the joint venture in 4 years. Is to say that we are not talking about just a project, oil and gas business, but we are talking also of social responsibility. Then, I would like to talk also briefly about our historical asset, which is Belaim, where we have been producing oil since 1953, and up to now, 2.6 billion barrels have been produced. And we are talking about still the biggest oil field discovery in Egypt. And which is the next challenge? The next challenge is to optimize recovery factor, applying the best technologies. And we are still convincing that this can be done. We are using the best reprocessed data, the state-of-art of the modelings, infilling, enhanced oil recovery, water injection, etc., etc. And I'm very pleased also to announce that in the recent weeks, we were able to activate the full reinjection of the formation water treated by the plant. So today, the water discharge is zero. And this is a very good achievement for the environment, and it is also good for pressure maintenance. In general, and finally, I would like to thank the authorities, the Minister of Petroleum, the Governor, and the government itself, because all these achievements I mentioned before was not possible without this commitment. Thank you very much, and see you in the next occasion.
Over 130 years ago, Edison started its history of innovation in Italy, with an integrated presence both in electricity and hydrocarbons. Edison has been present in Egypt since the mid-90s, actively participating in the oil and gas exploration and production sector. Edison's current portfolio includes 10 concessions, operating in 2 producing concessions and 8 exploration blocks in rich proven hydrocarbon basins. Edison's aim on growing its presence in Egypt by leveraging on its integrated business model along the entire energy value chain. Our next keynote speaker is Engineer Nicola Monti, Chief Executive Officer of Edison International.
Your Excellency, the Minister of Petroleum and Natural Resources, Excellencies, distinguished guests and speakers, and of course, colleagues. It's a pleasure for me to be back in Alexandria every time. As in Alexandria, we have our main operating base with Abu Qir Petroleum. It's hard to be more exciting than my previous speakers, especially E&I when talking about Zohr, but I will try to do my best. I will use the support of a few slides to guide you through my presentation. You can go to the next, please. We have a long history, even if we are a small company, but we are an energy integrated company. We had 25 years ago the view of coming to Egypt and investing with a long-term view in the country, so which is what we did. We had a first successful history together with our colleagues of PG, then now Shell, and then we renewed completely, almost completely our portfolio of concessions. Then 10 years or 15 years later, so in 2009, we came back with acquiring the rights in Abu Qir, so based here in Alexandria. And I would like to tell you then a little bit more on how we have been on our side successful in relaunching, revamping the resources of an old concession, which was in production since almost 25 years. But with new technology, with investment, then we've been able to increase very much production and reserves on this field. Now we have an integrated presence in the country with production, so producing assets, with development. We have ongoing investments, and of course, we're also present in the deep offshore with very promising licenses, which hopefully in the next few years will finally drilling operations could give them successful results in finding new gas discoveries. Next, please. Here is a building picture. I think next. So we go to just building up our presence, but we can go to the end of that. So you see the portfolio, which is offshore exploration areas and production area, which is mainly concentrated here in Abu Qir. Next, please. What we did in Abu Qir, we came 2009. We decided to invest in the potential of this area. So we built and we did put in production 2 new platforms. And now we are producing an equivalent amount of energy, of hydrocarbons, of 55 million barrels, 1,000 barrels of oil equivalent per day. If you can go to the next, please. Now you see that you can just have a look at the upper graph in this picture. So you see all the gray area was the past history of production of this concession, but with about 30 new wells with 350 square kilometers of new 3D seismic, and with investment we have been able then to basically double production compared to when we came into this concession in 2009. You also see in the graph a hole in our production history which happened right in between the political and economic turmoil of the country. And here again I also have to thank His Excellency the Minister, who was at that time was not a minister, but he was a person able to talk to the oil companies, and he was really able to help us in regaining confidence in the country and to recover our investment in order to recover then production to the level that we were foreseeing at the beginning. Next, please. We still have investments and potential in this concession, and here the message is even when you have mature fields in production since 30 years of new technology, you can very much improve the recovery factor. So we still have a new development phase for Abu Qir by connecting additional discoveries to the existing offshore grid. And also we have a deep horizon potential in the concession. So this is the next phase of investment that we'll see to fully exploit the potential of that concession. But after that, if you go to the next slide, then I would like to come then to the key message that I want to deliver to you. We're not a big E&P company, but we are an integrated energy company. Our history goes back to 130 years ago, and we started with electricity production, and we're now an integrated group with capabilities in oil and gas, in all the gas value chain, from upstream to downstream, and also in electricity. So even in Egypt, we have a long history, which goes back to 1998 with power generation. And what we see now, and we envisage as a potential, is to have a look at the entire market of Egypt as an integrated market for hydrocarbons to the downstream. If we go to the next slide, I will give you something which is very similar to a giant gas discovery, and it has to do with efficiency. Sustainability, it has been said for several times by the past speakers, is definitely a key message and a key action that we have to take in all of our activities and efforts. And sustainability means energy efficiency on one side, social responsibility definitely, and it has to do with environment, so with renewables. We are an integrated energy player, and we want to play that game also here in Egypt. Our system company, EDF Energy Well, has ongoing investment which corresponds to the development of 100 megawatt of solar plant, and we want to be also a player in energy efficiency. Now, we made a very light exercise, and I want to draw your attention on that. What does it mean if we improve the energy efficiency of the industrial sector of Egypt? Just keep in mind that the energy intensity of Egypt today is not really corresponding to what it should be, because it's a number which is, just to tell you, comparable to the energy intensity of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. But I think that the industrial structure, infrastructure of the country of Egypt is not at all comparable to that. And so there is a lot of potential to improve the energy efficiency. If we just give us an objective from here to 20, in 15 years, to improve by 20% energy consumptions of the industrial sector, we're going to save something which corresponds to 1.7 BCF a day of gas consumption equivalent by 2030. So it's like having discovered another source without investing that much, and it is something which guarantees an infinite production, if you want to compare that with an hydrocarbon discovery. It doesn't mean that we do not have to keep investing in the oil and gas sector, of course, but we have to couple that also with an effort in investment in improving the energy efficiency of the country. So my message is for us as key investors with a long-term view in the country, to integrate our activities and investment in the oil and gas sector also with energy efficiency and sustainability. And we as Edison are definitely ready to play that game in the future. Thank you very much.
PB has a long and successful track record in Egypt, stretching back over 55 years. Its business in Egypt is primary in exploration and production. It currently produces almost 10% of Egypt's entire liquid production, and more than 50% of Egypt's natural gas production with its partners. Production from BP's strategic West Nile Delta project alone will be equivalent to about 25% of the domestic gas supply when all fields are producing. It's currently the largest holder of exploration and development gas acreage in the Nile Delta. Our final keynote speaker is Engineer Karim Alaa, General Manager BP Egypt.
Good morning, everyone. Your Excellency, Engineer موك³اللي، Minister of Petroleum and Mineral Resources, Your Excellency, Dr. Mohammed Sultan, Governor of Alexandria, Your Excellency, Ahmed Khalid, Commander-in-Chief of the Egyptian Navy, Your Excellency, Ali Al-Ashmawi, Northern Military Zone Commander, Engineer Osama Al-Baqli, EGA's Chairman and Head of the Mediterranean Offshore Conference Organizing Committee, Engineer Enzo Titoni, Chairman of the Offshore Mediterranean Conference 2019. Distinguished colleagues, guests, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great pleasure to be here at this year's Mediterranean Offshore Conference in the city of Alexandria, and among such an outstanding representation of distinguished guests and top leaders from the Egyptian and international oil and gas sector. Today, I plan to give you an overview of our current and future activities in Egypt, which have made Egypt one of the most important countries for BP within its global portfolio, and how we at BP continue to work with our partners to ensure the ongoing success of the energy sector. But before I do so, please allow me to briefly touch upon a few aspects on the global energy context. According to BP's publication Energy Outlook, by 2040, fast growth in developing economies drives up global energy demand a third high. Oil and gas together account for over half of the world's energy, and natural gas demand has become the second largest source of energy. In light of this, BP is delivering on its commitment to bring energy to Egypt and will continue to lead the way to help meet growing demand for energy. BP in Egypt, through its strong partnership with the Ministry of Petroleum and with its partners EGPC and EGAZ, is on track to delivering a number of important and exciting projects. Now allow me to focus in more detail on BP's current and future activities in Egypt, as well as our strategy in the country. But first, I'm keen to reiterate that safety remains our top priority. BP continuously strives to achieve its aspiration of no accidents, no harm to people, and no damage to the environment. Throughout our history in Egypt, we have produced, through our joint venture CAPCO, almost 40% of Egypt's entire oil production. Also, with our partners, we currently produce more than 50% of Egypt's annual gas production through our fields in the West and East Nile Delta. We have invested more than $30 billion, and we are proud to commit to invest approximately $12 billion between 2016 and 2020. This is an unprecedented investment growth in any country that BP operates in. And this reflects not only our confidence in the country's economy and potential, but also our strong and successful partnership with the government that goes back over 55 years, making us one of the largest foreign investors in any sector in the country. BP is committed to unlock Egypt's energy potential. Over the last 2 decades, we were able to intensify our activities in the Mediterranean, and during this decade, we have increased our gas supply to the Egyptian domestic market. Since 2016, BP has also aimed and is on track to more than triple our net production in Egypt by 2020. And we will achieve this through the delivery of our major projects and sustaining production levels for years to come. One of our most strategic projects of national significance, which BP operates, is the West Nile Delta project, that will provide around 25% of Egypt's domestic gas supply when all fields are put on stream. Production is expected to reach up to 1.3 billion cubic feet per day once all development phases are complete. The first phase of the West Nile Delta project was executed ahead of plan, delivering gas to Egypt in 2017. Our second exploration well in the North Damietta offshore concession, Atoll, is our first major project in Egypt to be delivered in 2018 and is the first successful Oligocene development in the Nile Delta. We are extremely proud of Atoll's efficient execution through our joint venture, PHPC. Delivering this project at such an unprecedented pace in less than 2 years after sanction and with an impeccable safety record is tremendous achievement. Atoll now produces 350 million cubic feet of gas and 10,000 barrels of condensate per day. BP is proud to be the largest holder of exploration and development gas acreage in the Nile Delta, and plans are in place to unlock further resources in the basin. An essential building block towards the future in BP is the modernization and transformation program, and how embracing digital solutions is key. BP Egypt's modernization and transformation agenda could not be driven without our partners' support and collaboration. The Ministry of Petroleum's modernization program has a great strategy and a rigorous plan where we have seen alignment and similarities between both programs. We are currently working to align synergies and pilot some of the modernization projects to our joint venture, PHPC, in close partnership and alignment with the Ministry of Petroleum Modernization Program. Before I conclude, I would like to express how proud I am to be standing here confirming that BP's history of success in Egypt is strengthened by the leadership and commitment of many Egyptians of distinguished and qualified calibers. Around 90% of BP Egypt's leadership team are Egyptians, which demonstrates our belief in Egypt's local talent. Furthermore, our operations on the ground go hand in hand with the delivery of our wide-ranging social investment programs focused on education, training, and skills development. To date, BP has been proud to support the funding of scholarships for 100 Egyptian graduates of impressive talents to pursue postgraduate studies in the UK. In addition to this, a key pillar of our national West Nile Delta project is to work in partnership with the local community to deliver sustainable development projects that will positively impact their lives. These projects carry a commitment of increasing local labor to reach up to 75% during operations. BP is very confident in the future of Egypt's energy potential. There are a lot of untapped opportunities in Egypt. The resources in the onshore and offshore Nile Delta are huge. We are committed to play a key role in the development of Egypt's energy sector and maximizing the use of our existing resources to help meet the country's growing energy demands. We have been here for more than half a century, and we look forward to an even longer and more productive future based on the foundation of a strong and successful partnership. It was my pleasure being here today. Thank you for your time and attention.
We would like to thank you all. Now His Excellency Engineer Thabع will inaugurate the exhibition. As for the technical session, they will start at 1:30. To all delegates, exhibitors, and visitors participating in the Mediterranean Offshore Conference, we wish you a very successful event. Our distinguished guests, I'd like to remind you that at 8 p.m., gala dinner sponsored by Edison will be held at Four Seasons Hotel San Stefano Ballroom. Kindly be noted that entrance is limited to invitation holders, so show it upon entrance. Thank you very much.